Hello, welcome back. It's so good to see you. So, what's going on with me, right? I did mention that I was going to be making a video about what was going on with me because I hadn't been feeling very well. First, I want to say thank you to everybody for the comments and the positive energy and prayers. Very nice, very sweet. Thank you. Really appreciated that. And also, I want to say that I'm sorry because I actually missed a video for the first time ever. I don't do that. But it was a true crime video, and those videos are just really time consuming. At least for me they are, because I don't just find a story and read something that somebody else has written. I research it and then look at all the different articles about it, because sometimes you can find different parts of the story, you know what I mean, that's not in one article, that's in the other. So it's just time consuming, and I didn't have the energy to do it. So I had to go to the emergency room. Yikes. This just a pre-note, or I don't know. It's really not an ASMR video. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to start doing their lawn soon, but this is the time that I have to do the video, so just ignore it. Sorry. Anyway, so I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, because I went to the emergency room this last Friday. But so the Friday before that, Thursday night actually, everything was fine. We came home from school and work and stuff like that, and I had made dinner, and it was just something quick. I made one of those DiGiorno pizzas, and my husband ate it, and later that night I started to feel this weird pain in my stomach, and I was like, oh no, because sometimes I have what I thought was gas. You know how gas pain can just be but every time I've ever had gas pain, or what I thought was gas pain, I have an eyelash stuck in my eye. The Gas X doesn't work. God, this is annoying. Gas X doesn't work, and I can't. Oh, hold on. Okay, I couldn't get it out, but I guess I'll just ignore it now. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Gas X doesn't work. I take Pepto, Tums, all that stuff, and it never works. So I was like, but I still always take it anyway, to try and relieve the pain. But sometimes when I have that pain, if it doesn't go away, I can just take a sleeping pill, and then I'll just sleep through the pain, and then when I wake up in the morning, it's gone, right? So I was like, I'm gonna have to do that, because the pain just got really bad. It was like my upper stomach and then under the rib cage, but it was so intense that it was radiating through my back and making my entire back just horrible pain. So I took a sleeping pill, just nothing prescription or anything. It's it's like NyQuil, but it's just the Z's one. It's the one that puts you to sleep, but in the pill form. So I took that, and it made me very drowsy, and I wanted to go to sleep, but the pain was so intense that I just couldn't. I got no sleep at all that night, and the next day, the kids had school, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get them ready for school. I could barely get them any food for breakfast or anything. I was just in such horrible pain, and I told my husband, I was like, just go to work, because his schedule doesn't really line up with the kids, so he couldn't drop them off or pick them up, so I was just like, they're just gonna have to take the day off because I can't do it, and I was just in awful pain. And I had called my mom because she's retired now, but she was a nurse for many years, and then she was case manager, like the supervising case manager of the hospital. So I called her and I was like, something's not right, and she told me to go to the emergency room, but I didn't want to. So I was just like, everything's fine, I'll be okay. I just need to rest, so and I thought maybe it had something to do with my MS, or I don't know. I have felt this before, but I just thought that it was like really bad gas or something. I don't know. But anyway, so I put a heating pad on my back because that's where the pain was most. And then I just laid down, and the kids were so good. They were so good the whole day, and my daughter was just like constantly like, do I need to do anything? Can I help you? Like, so sweet. But anyway, so I just rested with the heating pad, and the heating pad actually helped with the back pain. I mean, it didn't make it go away totally, but it also didn't help with the stomach pain, like, at all. But anyway, so my mom was worried about me, and she was checking on me all day, and I was just like, it's fine, I'm okay. I wasn't, but I don't want to go to the emergency room, Anyway, so she was like, well, I'm coming over there tomorrow. I don't care what you say. And I'm like, all right, because she usually comes over on the weekends to see the kids. And anyway, so she came over, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just low of energy and kind of nauseous and stuff, but I'm fine, So she's like, okay. And this pain and nausea and just the back pain and stuff, it lasted, and it just, every day I thought that it would be getting better, but it was like really not. And then one day it did get better, and then it didn't. But like, I couldn't eat, I didn't want to drink. When I did eat, I just ate like toast, because I was afraid that something was wrong with my stomach, and like, I thought that it might be pancreatitis or something like that. And then I was like, well, I've dealt with this before. Like, I don't drink alcohol ever. I'm just not a big drinker. But like a couple years ago, I had drank something like on 4th of July or New Year's Eve or something, and it had made me very sick. But like, for days, like, it was like I had drank poison or something, and I was trying not to die. It was awful. But it was very similar to what I was experiencing recently. And every time I had drank, which was like twice a year or something, this continued to happen. And I'm like, what? So I researched it, and I was like, well, sometimes people can develop alcohol intolerance, right? So I figured, well, that's got to be what it is. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll just never drink again. Not that big a deal, because I'm not a big drinker, So, but I was thinking it's very similar to what I had been going through with the alcohol intolerance thing. So I was like, but I didn't drink. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, what is happening? And I'm quite healthy, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. And then, you research, Google stuff, and I didn't know what it was. And my mom was like, well, could it be the MS hug, which is very painful as well? But I'm like, no, because I deal with MS hug like all the time. It's different. This is like on the inside, and it's like radiating through to the back, and just, it's different, but I didn't, like, a week had gone by, and I didn't tell my mom I was just like, it'll get better, it'll get better. And I thought that it was getting better because one day I was able to be up and like my head was clear. I was able to function, you know. But then the next day it got worse and I was like, oh no. So it was Friday again. So 8 days passed and it was terrible pain again. It was like tricking me, making me think it was going away, and then it just like came back intensely, and I was just like, what is going on? I was trying to convince myself like maybe it's just really bad gas, or maybe it's ulcers, you know, and I'm just being a baby. But I was like, I don't think so, you know. So my husband had already gone off to work, and my kids, it was Friday again, but they had off that Friday for like a teacher holiday. So I was like, you know, I need to call my mom and ask her to take me to the emergency room, and then I'll call my husband and tell him to come home. You know, because if my mom can't take me, then I'll wait for him to come home and then he can take me, you know. But I wanted him to come home to stay with the kids. I mean, they can take care of themselves, but, you know, I don't want them to be alone. And so I called my mom and I told her, and she's like, you're still in pain? What is wrong with you? We're going to the emergency room. So I was like, okay. So we go to the emergency room, and I didn't want to go because I didn't want to be like there and then they check and they're like, you have gas, shut up baby, go home, you know what I mean? But I also didn't not want to go in case it was something like super serious and like I was dying, you know. But anyway, so we go to the emergency room, and it was super like quick, like getting checked in and going back to the room. Like we didn't really have to wait that long. It was waiting for the other stuff that took forever. But anyway, so they take me back there, and then they have to draw blood, and I'm like, oh no, because I hate that. I don't like thinking about things inside the body. I like panic, especially veins and ugh. So I don't like that. But another reason why I don't like it is because every time I get an IV or blood drawn or whatever, they can't find the veins because my veins are so teeny tiny that they're almost non-existent. And every time I get my blood drawn or an IV, the person tells me they have huge difficulties finding the veins. And then they're like, your veins like don't exist, you know. And I'm like, I know. So they're like, we gotta draw blood, and I'm just instant panic mode because it's very painful, especially if your veins are so tiny. And I don't know, I'm like hypersensitive to pain, and I think for a normal person it's no big deal, you barely feel it, but that's not my normal thing. Like they literally have to jab me like 50 times, and I feel like they're wiggling the needle around and stuff. Ugh. But anyway, so I told the lady, I'm like, I don't like this, so just I can't look, and if I yell at you, I'm sorry. You know, like I can't control this. And she was like, that's okay, I understand, just, you know, don't punch me or anything. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. So she starts to put the needle in, and I'm like breathing, like hyperventilating really, you know. And she's like, take deep breaths. So I'm taking deep breaths, and she gets the needle in there. It takes her a while, but she gets the needle in there, and I'm just like, okay, trying to talk about anything else. And but when she puts the needle in there, I scream the F word because it really hurts. And my mom's like, Tina, and I'm like, she's an adult, she knows words. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, it's in there, it's almost over, just breathe. And then she's like, oh, I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. She's like, I got it in there, but your vein doesn't want to release any blood. And I'm like, what? So it's like my veins like tighten up, and it's like, nope, not gonna happen. So she's like, we're gonna have to go in again. And I'm like, no. So I'm like, you can't go in the same arm. You're not touching that one again. So then she has to go into the other arm. And she had difficulty finding the vein in that arm as well. But she eventually found it and she got it in there. And blood finally came. It took a while. My body just doesn't like to. My body's stingy with its blood. But anyway, so she finally got all that done, and then I had to go pee, which is another issue for me because I have MS and I have a lot of difficulty peeing with the retention, so fun times. Anyway, and then we had to wait until we were called back, and while we were waiting, I saw like this car pull up because I was right by the window. I saw this like van pull up, but it looked official, and I was like, what is this? And then there like a bunch of these also like bodyguards came out because they had like this bulletproof vests, and then I was just like, what is that? But then I got distracted because I was talking to my mom, and then I look up and like this prisoner walks in, and all I could think was like, man, I hope he sits next to me so that I can be like, what are you in for? I mean, hospital, not jail. But he didn't. He had to sit like in a corner with like his little guards guarding him. But like, I wasn't like, oh my god, a prisoner. I was like, I felt so bad for him, like, because they have infirmaries in prison and stuff, but like whatever was wrong with him, he had to go to an actual hospital or something. So like, can you imagine being in pain or whatever's wrong with you and then having to go to the emergency room in chains? Like, you're uncomfortable anyway, but like now you have to be all chained up. Like, I just felt bad for him. Anyway, so then they called us back, and that's when the waiting happened. But like, the ER doctor, at first he was like, oh, you have stomach pain, like, what's wrong with you, and it was kind of like, we might not find out what's wrong with you today. We'll do some tests and see what the blood work says, and we'll go from there. So I was like, okay. So they did the blood work. Nothing was wrong with the blood, urine. Like, there was nothing to indicate that I was suffering from anything, so he was like, okay, well, we're gonna get you into a CT scan. So I did a CT scan, and weird thing, they told me when I went in there that they were gonna put some dye in me or something, because they were gonna do it with contrast. And he told me that like the stuff that they're gonna be shooting into the IV is gonna be very warm, and you're gonna feel like you peed your pants. And I'm like, what? But when I went to the CT thing, I didn't feel it at all. I guess maybe because like my body is generally like numb anyway, so anyway, so the CT comes back and they're like, it looks like you have gallstones, so we're gonna send you to ultrasound so that we can get a look at everything, so I did the ultrasound, and then I felt bad at the ultrasound place because the lady, by this time, it's like, we got there at like 12:30, but by this time it's like 5:30, and this lady who's doing my ultrasound, I think she was having a rough day, because like I got in there and she was just like, oh, today has just been such a long day. They just keep bringing me patients, and it's just like, I just want to go home. And I'm like laying there like, sorry. I mean, I felt bad for having to be there on the table, but I mean, I also need this done. I just felt bad for her. But I was like, it's almost over, like, you get to go home at 7, right? And she's like, yeah, but I don't know, I just felt bad for her. Anyway, so I do that, and then I go back, and they're like, yeah, there's no infection or anything like that. They're like, if there was infection right now, you'd be going into surgery, like, right now. But there's not, so I'm gonna send you home with, like, pain medication, but nothing intense, something just to take the edge off, which they gave me when I was there. Something in the IV, I don't remember the name of it, but it did exactly what he said. It wasn't like a narcotic kind of thing. It was it didn't take the pain all the way away, but it took it away enough to be able to deal with it, which was it was like, it was a relief, you know what I mean? But anyway, and then he gave me something for nausea and whatever, and he wants me to check up with, like, the surgeon and whatever, but I mean, I don't want surgery, and my mom said that you don't have to have surgery, you can deal with it, like, eat better, which is what I've been doing. Like, I mean, I don't eat that bad anyway, but, like, recently all I've been eating is, like, fruits and vegetables and stuff, which I made a video with the cutting up of the fruit. That was literally my lunch, so, but just fresh, raw, fruit, vegetables, that kind of thing. And I did end up making, like, my homemade, I don't want to say chicken noodle soup because there's no chicken, but I use vegetable broth and whole grain, like, noodles, and I've got carrots and celery, and I put cayenne pepper in there because apparently cayenne pepper is good for gallstones. Normally spicy stuff isn't, but the ingredient there's like a chemical or something in cayenne pepper that helps with gallstones. I don't know, but anyway, my mom's like, you don't have to have surgery. Eventually, if you continue to have flare-ups of the gallstone pain and stuff like that, you might have to have surgery, but a lot of people deal with it on their own or, like, naturally and stuff like that, so I'm hoping to do it that way because I really don't want to have surgery, but anyway, so now I've been doing all kinds of research on gallstones, and it's, like, gross because, like, you read about stuff and they're like, there's sludge in there. So, like, a gallstone or the gallbladder, it filters out, like, fat and, like, greasy stuff. Like, if you eat a bunch of fried oily food, it filters out that, but it collects this sludge. Every, like, medical website says sludge, and I'm like, sludge? What is this? Gross. But eventually, like, if you eat enough of this specific type of food or something, it creates these crystals, and then the crystals turn into stones, and, like, it hurts. I don't know, like, it hurts really bad, but I was just like, I don't understand because I eat quite healthy. I mean, I eat a lot of candy, you guys know that, but, like, I'm a vegetarian and I eat healthy, but the doctor was like, well, it could be genetic. Sometimes it's just genetic. And so I look at my mom and she's like, because she had gallstones at basically the same age. I think she was 38. I always forget how old I am, but I looked and I'm 37. So it was like the same age. And when she had it, she called her mom and was like, so I guess I have gallstones or whatever. And her mom said this to her, which it's like an old wives thing or whatever. Like, her mom said, oh yeah, well, fair, fat, and 40. Fair, fat, and 40. So if you're light skinned and you're fat, or overweight, or you eat a lot of fattening food and you're about 40, it's, generally the time when you would get gallstones. Because my mom was like, it just shows that you're aging, and I mean, I don't feel old, like, but I'm almost 40. What? Like, that's weird to me. Like, to me, that sounds like an adult, and I don't feel like an adult. I feel like I'm still a kid. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it's been very painful, and even the doctor was like, I can't believe you didn't come in sooner, because gallstone or gallbladder pain is like apparently really painful, and he's like, I can't believe you lasted this amount of time without coming in to deal with the pain, and I was like, well, I told him, I was like, when he was like, you have gallstones or whatever, I was like, so I'm not crazy? And he's like, I never said you were crazy. And I was like, no, but I was thinking that I was crazy, because I was just like, it's probably just really bad ulcers or gas, but I wasn't crazy to be in, like, I wasn't being a baby about the pain and stuff. That it really is painful. So anyway, but now I'm doing better, and I'm gonna try and continue to eat lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, which is good anyway, but like, now I'm scared to eat anything not super healthy, you know what I mean? Because I don't want that to happen again, because it was painful, and I don't want surgery. Like, if I can avoid that, I'm going to, so yeah, I've been low on energy, but oh gosh, sorry, but I am I'm doing much better now, so I shouldn't miss any more videos. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Thank you for, all your comments and stuff, and for understanding. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.